morning, everybody. My name is Grado. I'm the lead engineer for the Jeep Renegade. I'm going to take you through the highlights of the vehicle from a technical standpoint. But let me take you a little bit back in time. In the beginning, we were told to make the most capable small SUV, period, for Jeep brand. Quickly, we realized we needed a brand new architecture in order to do this. So we built everything new from the ground up, essentially. Starting with the key foundational points that I'll take you through. Starting with the body cage itself. We have 70% high-strength steel in the cage, which gives us the rigidity we need to basically absorb the energy, whether it be from the road or from crash conditions. Of course, it gives us a lightweight cage as well, having so much high-strength steel, which plays to the mission of the car of being a lightweight, small, efficient package. Obviously for fuel economy, but obviously from a dynamic standpoint. Once we go ahead and do the body, we basically said, okay, now we need a suspension system, all new, that can complement that body system. So we went independent all the way around, McPherson fronts and Chapman back. The Chapman is basically a McPherson strut system, just non-steering. We then went further and said, with that suspension system, we'll need enough travel because it is a Jeep. So we gave it 200+ millimeters of wheel travel to make sure we can manage the energy coming in our own range and tune each suspension for each model that you see up here, essentially. We also went one step further and gave it what we call Coney FSDs, or frequency sensitive dampers. And what that does essentially is in the shock system, we have these valves that are tuned again for each model and each weight class that allow you to minimize or eliminate the aftershake you feel when you're going down the road and you hit a bump or when you're off-roading. This gives us a car that feels confident and composed. And today when you're driving, you'll feel that as you go through the different events, on-road and off-road. So we have a world-class dynamic setup in the vehicle. We have a world-class cage around it. We also went further and said, now we're going to go into the powertrains themselves. There's 16 powertrain combinations offered globally for this car. So you can imagine the amount of development required to get all 16 powertrains into this car. For NAFTA, we basically have two engines. We have a 1.4 liter MTX made it to a 6-speed that comes in front-wheel drive or the 4x4 system at 160 horsepower. Then we have the more mainstream 2.4 liter 9-speed that comes in at 180 horsepower. Now, the 2.4 9-speed, we've used it on our Cherokee models, we've used it on other Chrysler models. This essentially is the next generation of that package because we know it'll be the mainstream for this market. And we've taken the next generation calibrations and refinement, and you'll feel that today as you go through and drive. Now, the biggest advantage in all this, the powertrain, of course, is the driveline system. Now, the driveline is also all new. And the reason it's advantageous is as we build the car and make it more lightweight, tractive effort to the ground through the driveline system is a benefit, essentially, for a lot of ways. Versus the Cherokee, which is a little bit heavier, but because of the less weight, we're able to transfer that energy to the ground very efficiently. Now, the driveline system, there's two. We have active drive with active drive low. The active drive system and active drive low both have a disconnecting prop. So we have disconnecting clutches at the PTU in the front and at the RDM in the back. This allows the prop to stop spinning when it's not needed. In the event it's needed, of course, we have a 500 millisecond reaction time to turn on the back end, basically, or get the rear wheels active, should it sense slip on the front of the vehicle. Active drive low system basically brings in those same concepts, disconnecting prop, but has a different final drive ratio attached to it. The final drive ratio is a 4.334 versus the 3.734 that we see on the mainstream model. Now, why this is important. The active drive low system is exclusive to just a Trailhawk model. Okay. We bring this in basically with a different final drive ratio to take advantage of those 9 gears. Those 9 gears that we have from a spread standpoint allows us to focus in on the Trailhawk and say, okay, that first gear now with the 4.334 gives us a crawl ratio of 20:1. For those of you that are Jeep enthusiasts, crawl ratio is obviously very important. And that 21 is the best in class for this segment of vehicle in this new small SUV world. So we're very, very proud of that. You will feel this today when you go off-road and you'll be able to play with how that works out. The other thing that Trailhawk brings is an exclusive rock mode. Earlier, Klaus was showing the terrain selector, which has the snow, the mud, the sand. Trailhawk also brings rock mode. It's in that rock mode, basically, which you'll be driving this afternoon for the most part, that allows you to basically bring in all the other features of the car for a specific strategy for off-roading. That includes very aggressive BLDs, or brake lock differentials. So we basically lock the wheel that is spinning to transfer torque to the other side. It gives you a different steering setup, different pedal mass, different gearing in terms of hanging on to the gears longer. Okay? So as we talk about the low range basically and Trailhawk model, other things of course is the geometry of the vehicle. Aggressive approach at 31 degrees, breakover at 26, departure at 34. We take the Trailhawk model, we lift it 20 millimeters above the other 4x4 system. So that gives us the geometry to transverse these terrains that we're talking about, essentially. Of course, we got the tow hooks that were mentioned earlier, front and rear, and skid plates to protect the underbody. All of these elements is something that is consistent from a Trailhawk package. You'll see the same type of formula used on Cherokee, and we brought that basically to this world in the small SUV segment. The vehicle itself, from an efficiency standpoint, earlier I talked about the cage. Obviously, from an efficiency, we've got interior space of 118 cubic feet. 51 of that is used for cargo space, essentially. And given the shape of the vehicle, we're able to take advantage of the box and the stand-up rear backlight and really maximize our space inside. This platform is called a small wide architecture. When you sit inside the car, you will get the sense that it is, in fact, quite wide and roomy around you. But again, I'd rather not tell you, I'd rather show you. So when you get in the vehicle, you'll get that sense that, is this truly a small SUV or not? And so, but I'll let you be the judge of that. The other aspect of the vehicle, of course, mentioned earlier, was the available 70 safety and security features. A couple class exclusive items like lane departure, not typically found, forward collision warning, also blind spot detection, just to name a few of the new technologies that we're basically stealing from our other products we have in the portfolio and bringing them back down to this segment here. So we were tasked basically with making the SUV, the small SUV, the most capable. As mentioned earlier, what Jim was talking about, it's very important to put on a Jeep badge on this vehicle. There's lots of unique Jeep attributes and requirements that are set up. I personally and my team has taken this car all around the world. We've been validating in Sweden, all over Europe, South America, all around North America, to make sure that we basically cover all those different driving conditions, whether it be snow, whether it be sand, mud, rock, obviously off-roading. We've spent a lot of time at Moab. So these are all very important keys of putting this package together, make sure it's a successful package and that we live up to the Jeep brand. So we're very proud, and I hope you have fun today. The team's got a great route set up, on-road and off-road for you to experience. I'll be around all day for any questions, of course.